movie experience. We are here today to talk about movies for as long as we want, or maybe just shy of an hour. Who knows? We'll see how far we get tonight. But I got a few people in the chat that I want to go ahead and call out. We got Sam Jr. here. What is up, Sam? He says, hi, Ken. We got 4K Corner here. He says, hi, Sam. Welcome, 4K Corner. 4K Corner, by the way, does some pretty awesome live streams himself every Thursday night. I think at 9 o'clock is when you do those, right, 4K? Mitchell, the movie man, is here. He says, hey, what is up, everybody? We have a jam-packed schedule here tonight on my weekly live stream. We're going to start off just by talking about what we've been watching recently, like in the past week. What has everybody been watching? Have you been watching any good movies? Anything interesting at all? Let me know in the chat. Let's talk about it. I'll get into my kind of watch list. I've been watching a lot of movies. I've watched probably like 7 or 8 movies in the past week. I've really been going at it this year as far as my movie watching. I think I'm up to like 21 or 22 movies for the year so far. I'm trying to just hit the ground running in 2021 and just watch as many first-time watches as I can. I was trying to catch up on a bunch of releases, stuff that came out in 2020. I haven't actually even watched a movie that came out in 2021 yet. I'm hoping to this week. I might watch that Chloe Grace Moretz kind of sky monster movie. But yeah, we're going to talk about what I picked up this week. I'll show y'all what I picked up this week. And also, holy shit, did anybody see the Godzilla versus King Kong trailer? I imagine that everyone did, because I literally booted up YouTube when I got out of work and there was like 50,000 trailer reactions on there. Everybody, and I'm pretty sure I saw my mom do a trailer reaction for Godzilla versus King Kong. And yeah, I watched the trailer when I got out of work, watched it in my car, on the phone, which is probably the worst way to watch the trailer, but you know, I make do. I couldn't wait till I get home. I turned my speakers up really loud and I just soaked it all in, and it was glorious. It looks fantastic. The only thing that I'll say about it is that they brought in a lot of human character elements into the trailer, which I didn't really enjoy that about King of the Monsters that much, or the first Godzilla really, or Kong Skull Island. That seems to be the weakest element of these films, and that doesn't look to be any different in this one. So I just want to see Godzilla and King Kong go at it. And man, the visuals in this trailer were spectacular. It looks like King Kong has actually grown up to the size of Godzilla in this, so that's nice to see. I know they were saying in King Skull Island that he was like a teenager or something, because a lot of people were speculating on like him being like half of Godzilla's size in that one. He looks full grown in this one. Both of them collided. They look badass. Godzilla's freaking shooting the blue lasers. King Kong's like throwing fists. There's that awesome shot at the end where like King Kong's jumping into Godzilla with like he's wielding something. He's wielding some kind of axe or sword. I don't know what the hell it is, but it looks absolutely amazing. And yeah, I was a huge fan of the trailer. I was going to get to the Godzilla versus Kong reaction a little bit later in the show, but I just went into it right here because I'm honestly very excited. I came home and I told my son to turn on the YouTube channel and boot it up, because he has been talking about this movie since we saw Kong Skull Island in the theaters like 4 years ago. And I was like, you remember that movie, Godzilla vs. Kong, that's been delayed like 50 times? We were supposed to see it 2 years ago. Well, it's finally coming out. And he got all excited. We got excited together. Watched it like 2 more times. And yeah, it's a freaking badass trailer. So let's get into some of your all's thoughts in the chat. We'll talk about what we've been watching as well. But yeah, I just kind of impromptu jumped into that trailer reaction because I couldn't help myself. But let's see what we got. Sam Jr. said, I watched Batman Begins this week. That is an awesome movie. That whole trilogy I really enjoy. I think that The Dark Knight, that's probably the one I like the most of all 3 of them, but I still think it's slightly overrated as a superhero movie. I don't like the 3rd act of that movie that much at all, but Batman Begins is amazing. Liam Neeson's really good. I remember rewatching it, I think 3 years ago, maybe. I need to rewatch it again. I still need to get the 4Ks of all of those, actually. Let's see. Whack of the Butcher's in here. What's up, buddy? Says, sub Ken. I still need to watch I'm hoping to watch that Scorsese film that you recommended to me this week. What's it called? Bringing Up the Dead or something, the Nicolas Cage one. I'm hoping to watch that this week, so hopefully I'll get a review of that on my Instagram this week because I know you said you watched that and really enjoyed it. So I also might watch 8mm this week. I think I might make it a double feature for the Cage this week. Let's see. Sam Jr. saying hi to Wacka. Wacka the Butcher said, I finished Christopher Nolan's filmography, and he's the first director I've done this for, so I'm feeling proud of myself. Yeah, I know how you feel because I think I finished the entire filmography of Kubrick last year, and I felt pretty accomplished myself. It's really cool going back and watching every single movie of the directors, and you just feel so like knowledgeable about that director. You feel like you're equipped to finally talk about him. Now, one director I haven't finished the entire filmography for is Martin Scorsese, and that's a task right there. He's got like 50, 60 movies. But yeah, I still need to see The Following, and I still have not seen Memento. So I've got 2 Nolan films that I still have to see before I can say I've seen all of his filmography. Let's see. Sam Jr. said Godzilla versus Kong trailer was super awesome. Yes, it was. Yes, it absolutely was. I was in shock. That movie is directed by Adam Wingard. If you all don't know who Adam Wingard is, he directed You're Next, which is a horror film that came out in I think 2013. It's a really awesome like home invasion type slasher movie. Super awesome movie. One of my favorite horror movies of like the past decade. He also directed The Guest, which is a movie with I forget the guy's Dan Stevens. He's freaking awesome. It's like this kind of action horror Terminator type movie. It's freaking incredible. So Adam Wingard to me is one of the most underrated directors in the past 10 years, and I am rooting for him to have a win with this movie. It just sucks that it's not going to get the showcase that it deserves. I know it'll still be in theaters, but it's not gonna draw a huge crowd because with that trailer and the hype level that everybody's at right now, that's like $100 million opening there at least in normal times. I think a lot of people would have went out to see that movie, so it's very disappointing that he's not going to get to have that in theater. He also directed that Blair Witch sequel, which I actually didn't think was that bad. I actually enjoyed that Blair Witch sequel quite a bit. Mitchell the Movie Man's in here. What's up, man? He said, yeah, I did a review of that trailer right after work. Yep. Did you do it in your car? Did you get right in your car and do the trailer reaction? I should have done that. I should have done it like on Instagram or something. Let's see. Sam Jr. said, who do you think will win? Man, look, King Kong's my boy. King Kong's winning. He's taking this one. He's taking this one for sure. Eugene Rawls in the house. What is up, Eugene? He said, I watched The Lost Boy. I have not seen that since I was like 10. It's been so long since I've seen it. I bought it on Blu-ray last year from Walmart for $5. Great deal. So I might watch that hopefully in 2021 as well. So 4K Corners here. I hated the music choice and how they looked like superheroes. Kong jumping through air to block Godzilla powers. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of, I didn't hate the music. I liked it. It was a little bit over the top and kind of cheesy, but it was all right. It kind of reminded me of similar music to the Black Panther trailers, actually, at least the second one, but just kind of the way it was. I don't know if it was like the same group or whatever, but it kind of sounded similar to me. Sam Jr. said, yippee. Whack of the Butcher said, I still need to see previous couple flicks, but honestly, it looks like a fun time. Which ones haven't you seen? Have you seen Skull Island, the first Godzilla? I like the first Godzilla quite a bit. I know a lot of people say that it's boring, and I actually thought the same thing when I watched it the first time in 2014. I don't even think I got through it all, but I went back and rewatched it a couple of years ago, and I really appreciate it. It's not like the best monster movie ever, but it has some really awesome fights in it. I like the use of scale in that movie. I just love the way that Gareth Evans, I think, is that Gareth Evans or Gareth Edwards? I forget. One of them directed The Raid, one of them directed Rogue One and Godzilla, and I can never get it straight which one is which. But I like the use of scale in that movie. Godzilla never looked bigger and more awesome than in that movie. I love the scene where they're jumping out and all the red smoke and stuff, and you can kind of see his body as they're going down the parachute to the ground. So yeah, definitely check those out. I didn't like King of Monsters that much. The monster fights were awesome, but they spent way too much time with those human characters, and those are always the most boring parts of the movies. Let's see. Cinephile Nation in the house. What is up, man? Pratty's here. I really didn't like the pretentious dialogues among humans in the trailer. Kong and Godzilla look sick, though. Yeah, I mean, that's really my only criticism. And it's like, I've come to expect it at this point, so oh well. Guys, we got about 13, 12, 13 people in here right now. If you can, if you would be so nice as to hit the like button for me, I'd definitely appreciate it. That definitely would help the stream out, help the channel, and I would greatly appreciate it if you could hit that like button for me. VHS DVD Blu-ray Previews Australia. That is a new person in the chat. Welcome, welcome. That is a hell of a name right there. But I love VHS, DVD, and Blu-ray. So awesome to have you in here. Should I see The Empty Man? I haven't seen The Empty Man. I've seen it at Redbox. I almost thought about getting it just for like a random movie watch. But yeah, I didn't grab that one. Let's see. VHS says not cuties. Yeah, I probably won't be watching. I'm assuming you're talking about that Netflix movie, but I'm probably not going to be watching that one anytime soon. Wacka the Butcher said it's called Bringing Out the Dead. There you go. There you go, Wacka. Thank you. Is it on Amazon Prime? I don't have to pay to rent it or anything. I watched The Green Mile last week. We can jump into some first time watches. That movie freaking blew me away. I'd never seen The Green Mile before. I've always seen like I remember watching parts of it on TV when I was little, but never in its entirety. That movie is so freaking good. I've like teared up several times throughout. Tom Hanks is freaking amazing. Michael Clark Duncan, I don't know. There might not be a more emotional performance, at least in the 90s, for me. Yeah, that movie blew me away. I reviewed it on my Instagram. I gave it a 10 out of 10. It had some issues here and there. It felt a little bit dated in parts, but honestly, like it's a 3 hour and 10 minute movie. It freaking breezed right by. I enjoyed every minute of it, and it's just one of those movies that I think is deserving of that masterpiece 10 out of 10 status. So yeah, Green Mile's excellent. If y'all haven't seen it, I know I was probably like the only one left on earth that hadn't seen that movie, but I watched it and I loved it. So. Let's see, Stubbs in here. He says, hey everyone, what is up, Stubbs? How you doing tonight? Whack at the Butcher's here. I'll see if I can make an Instagram post, showcase my ranking. I'll let you know ahead of time. There's a big Batman bias. Okay, all right, man. That sounds awesome. Sam Jr. said, you're next. That was a good movie. It was a good movie. I really love that movie. I watch it almost every October. I try to watch You're Next. Yeah, that and Cabin in the Woods. I love both those movies. I remember seeing both of them around the same time. And yeah, I fell out of love with horror a little bit in the 2000s because they really didn't make that good of horror movies then. And it kind of brought me back a little bit with You're Next and Cabin in the Woods and The Conjuring, and just horror started getting a whole lot better around those early teens and the 2010s. So let's see. Stub says The Wolf of Snow Hollow was one of my favorites in 20. I still need to check that out. I think about picking up the Blu-ray for that Wolf of Hollow every time I go to Target on my Blu-ray hunts every Tuesday. I know you all see the camera pan by the Wolf of Snow Hollow. Every single time I think about grabbing it, and I don't. I did get that The Dark and the Wicked, and I still haven't watched it yet, so I need to grab that one as well. Maybe do a double feature or something. Sam Jr. said Godzilla 98. Boo. I like Godzilla 98. You can call me crazy, but I like that movie. Good Matthew Broderick movie. I watched another good Matthew Broderick this week. I'll just kind of bring up my first time watches as we talk about stuff. But I watched Election this week with Matthew Broderick and Reese Witherspoon. It was okay. I thought it might be a little bit better the way it'd been hyped, but it was a fun little kind of dark teenage high school movie. Matthew Broderick and Reese were great in it though. Wacka the Butcher said, haven't seen any of them to be honest. Also going to watch the original King Kong and Godzilla 1954. Okay. I haven't seen the original King Kong. I did want to. Because I was watching a lot of like 1931, 1932 films, and I was going to make my way to that when I got to 1933. Michael Morrison's here. He said, hey, Ken, I want to say that I won't be able to stay long. Could you start streaming a bit earlier next week? I'm sorry, man. Unfortunately, I work on Sundays, and this is about the earliest that I can get online. Sometimes I don't get out of work till like 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. And yeah, I got to get home and eat something, take a shower, all that stuff, and get down here and get set up. It would be too early to do 9 o'clock or 8:30 or something like that. So, but you know, there's always potential for future live streams on other nights, possibly in the future. But right now, I'm kind of settled into this Sunday routine at 9:30. But you can always watch the replay. You can always watch the replay, sir. Sub says Jimmy Page and P Diddy. Yeah, that was a great soundtrack overall. I remember. Does anybody remember Jamiroquai? I think he was on that soundtrack too. Yeah, that was a great soundtrack. Sub says, or no, Sam Jr. said, I hit the like button. The Green Mile is sad. Yes, it is. Sub says, Bring Out the Dead, great film. I just watched Paul Schrader film, Patty Hearst. I haven't seen that one. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen it. Film Geeks is in here. He said, what's up? What is up, Film Geeks? How you doing? I'm sure you had a Godzilla trailer reaction today that I did not see yet, but I will look forward to watching when I get off of the stream. Wack the Butcher said, watched Interstellar on Friday, made me cry 5 times. With Interstellar, I need to watch Interstellar again. It's been a long time. I do remember liking that movie quite a bit, though. I actually liked it better than Inception, if I'm being honest. Let's see. Film Geeks is Team Kong. All right, man. Team Kong all the way. Kong is the best. Let's see. The Green Mile is phenomenal. Yes, it is. Cinephile Nation says, I sulked like a baby in the Green Mile, man. Can't wait to post that review. Glad we are on the same page on this one. Yeah, it's freaking, it blew me away. I'm glad it did too. I'm glad I didn't come out of it like I did like Magnolia. And I was like, it was okay. The Green Mile delivered. It delivered for me big time. Great cast in that movie. Everybody in that movie is freaking great. Let's see. Mitchell, the movie man, said, I watched Bad Boy Bobby for the first time. It's an Australian movie, very messed up. I have not even heard of that movie. I'll have to look that up. 4K Corner said, I watched Gretel and Hansel last night. What did you think of that? I saw it last year. When did that come out? I think like the beginning of February last year. So I'm coming up on the year anniversary of Hansel and Gretel, which seems like a notable anniversary to celebrate, right? But I just remember it because it was like one of my last theatrical experiences. It was okay. It was fun. There's a lot of movies I watched early last year that were either like complete trash or they were just like, okay. Except for like Bad Boys for Life, which if you guys didn't watch my top 10 movies of 2020, I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it yet, but Bad Boys for Life might have a very prominent spot on that list. I'm just saying. Definitely check out that video. A lot of people did check it out, though. I appreciate everybody's support in the top 20. I also put out a 2012 4K review on Friday. That was a very interesting rewatch that I did not really enjoy all that much at all. And last night I did my thrifting vlog as well. So that is out there for you guys to check out. Let's see. That's okay, Ken. I can't, I don't know what's okay. What's okay, Michael? I forgot. Sam Jr. said, I remember him. Michael Morrison said, I was just playing Resident Evil and Doom. I wish I had time to play games. I really do. I have this itch right now where I really want to go like dive into some games. And it's like I have to keep watching movies and making videos and doing this. And it's like, I love doing this, but sometimes I just want to break away and play a game for a little bit. Michael Morrison said, I'm Team Zella. Oh, no, Team Zella. It's okay. Godzilla's cool, too. Godzilla's cool, too. Sam Jr. said, I watched Interstellar and Dunkirk at school. 4K Corner said, I loved Interstellar. Probably watched it 10 times minimum. Awesome. I need to watch Interstellar. I got the 4K. I just haven't watched it yet. Kino just put out Buried Alive on Blu-ray. Frank Darabont's first movie that was on USA Network in 1990. Yeah, wasn't that a TV movie? Yeah, I thought I heard that was I almost thought about ordering that as well, and I didn't do it yet. Cinephiles Nation said, I watched Hansel and Gretel, the one with Jeremy Renner. It was a fun flick. The Witch is like, oh, okay. I remember seeing that in theaters, actually. I think I have it on Blu-ray, too. I think I got it at Big Lots for like $3. Let's see. 4K Corner said, I thought the Gretel and Hansel would be a lot better, but it didn't end in the typical way that I thought it would. Yeah. It was weird. I don't know. It was, I can't say it was like one of the great, it had good atmosphere. It had really good cinematography. I remember it was shot like really well. But yeah, overall, I didn't really enjoy the film that much. Trying to think what else I watched. I watched Your Highness, that James Franco, I forget the other guy, Danny McBride movie, because I got those Mill Creek Blu-rays that I needed to review. And I watched Accepted, which I actually still do enjoy. Accepted, which was a comedy that came out when did that come out? 2006, but that was one of Jonah Hill's first movies. It was one of Justin Long's like first starring roles. Like he was the lead in the movie. He was in Waiting with Ryan Reynolds in 2005, and he was in Jeepers Creepers, of course. But that was like his big like starring role. I still enjoy Accepted. It's a little dated, but I think it's still pretty good. Other than that, though, I watched the other two. We can talk about a little bit later in 2020 movies because there's one that I probably will want to get into at some point. But just going into what I picked up last week, so I got 2012 on 4K, which looks amazing, but the movie is not that great. I actually got two movies that were sent to me by Arrow Academy, and Arrow Video. And it's because sometimes I'll get stuff from them. I'm on their kind of review list. Sometimes I get stuff from them, sometimes I don't. I guess I'm not a priority. But the JSA movie, which is a movie that was directed by Park Chan-wook, who directed Old Boy. So I'm interested in checking this one out this week. I might be doing a review for it at some point as well on the channel this week, so be looking out for that. And I got Cinema Paradiso, which a lot of people say is like freaking phenomenal movie, and I've never seen it. And this is the 4K, so that's awesome that I got that. I was on the list to get Tremors from them as well, but I still haven't seen it yet. They said they were going to send it to me. I still haven't seen it, but oh well. I'm happy with what I got. I got Dirty Dancing on Blu-ray. I ordered this because it was $5, and I still have not seen the movie Dirty Dancing, so I'll check it out at some point. I got a couple movies from my 1999 list. I don't know if I'm going to watch them. I'm probably not going to watch American Beauty because I watched this last year, but I haven't owned it I didn't own it on Blu-ray yet. I only had the DVD, so I went ahead and bought the Blu-ray, went ahead and upgraded. This is a movie that either needs a Criterion or a 4K. It will look amazing. The visuals, cinematography in this movie is fantastic. The score in this movie, I love. It's like one of my favorite scores of all time by Thomas Noonan. So yeah, fantastic movie. We got October Sky with Jake Gyllenhaal, Laura Dern. This is a movie that I have not seen since like sophomore year science class. I remember we used to watch this movie in school all the time, and I really enjoyed the movie, but I haven't seen it in such a long time, probably since like 2001 or something. But moving on, we already talked about the Godzilla versus Kong trailer. Let's talk a little bit about WandaVision episode 3. Did anybody watch WandaVision episode 3 this week? I imagine quite a few people did. I enjoyed it. I watched it last night with my son, and it's interesting. I'm still intrigued. I'm still hooked on the show. It's developing into where it's going. I'm not quite sure, but I am interested. I'm intrigued. You had the 70s setting in this one. You had some cool, like, kind of people kind of insinuating about darker, more sinister things going on in the background. And then you actually get the reveal of what they're in at the end. And it kind of reminded me a little bit of The Truman Show, if I'm being honest. Because you kind of see Monica Rambeau laying in the grass, and then they kind of pan out. Everybody in the guns comes in. Sorry not to spoil the show or whatever, but I assume most everybody in the world has seen WandaVision by now. But then it kind of zooms out and you see that kind of dome with the force field barrier. And it was cool. It's intriguing. I'm intrigued. It's not like mind-blowing or anything. I'm not like losing my shit over it every time it comes on, but I'm intrigued, and I'm very interested in where it can go from here. And the fact that, we got 6 episodes left, really, the sky's the limit. They've already done so much as far as like putting all the pieces in place. So we'll see if they can knock them down in the next couple of weeks and really give us some mind-blowing, interesting stuff. So yeah, just leave your thoughts on WandaVision down below. If you've seen it, what did you think of it? Let's see, we got a couple more people in the chat here. I thought Gretel and Hansel would be a lot better. Let's see, I think I already read that one. Cinephiles Nation said, I watched Dunkirk and 1917 back to back just to decide which one was better. Of course, I failed. Which one do you guys like more? So you couldn't decide which one was better? Of course, 1917 is better. It's so much better than Dunkirk, but admittedly, I'm not the biggest Christopher Nolan fan, but to me, Dunkirk was a beautiful movie. a technical masterpiece. The sound in Dunkirk was freaking amazing. How they kind of weaved it in with the score, with like the gunfire and everything. That was incredible. But to me, 1917 had all of that as well, and it actually had a good story that I could follow, and it made sense. Characters that I could engage with, emotional moments that actually resonated with me, and I felt something. I felt nothing for anybody the entire time I watched Dunkirk. In 1917, yeah, you can call it a gimmick all you want, but that one-shot take throughout the entire film is freaking spectacular. Only really cutting one time throughout the movie. And I know that they probably cut multiple times, but it feels like one take the entire time. And the score, I talked about Thomas Noonan earlier with American Beauty. The score in 1917, it's easily like top 10 film scores of all time for me. I still listen to that score all the time. I love the score in that movie. And that was my favorite movie of 2019 as well, was 1917. So that is my take on that. What is your guys' take? Do you like Dunkirk? Do you like 1917? I know a lot of people love Dunkirk. A lot of people love Dunkirk, and they think that 1917 is just a gimmick. But I don't know. The performances in that movie were so great too. Cinema Paradiso is a masterpiece. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I need to check it out. 4K Corner said, Ken, you were right. 2012 runtime was longer than what I remembered. The 4K transfer was really good. What'd you think of the movie 4K? Did it hold up for you? To me, I don't even remember liking the movie really. So it was kind of, I don't know. I just kind of went back and went through it, and like you said, I was I was probably on my phone for way too long during the movie. But I was pretty locked in for that first hour of 2012. I did think that they, even though it's like really overly like CGI, I do think that the first hour is pretty fun. All the way up until they leave Yellowstone and the big freaking nuclear blast goes off. Let's see. Pratty says, okay, now let's get to the good stuff. What are your worst films of 2020? Okay, Cinephiles Nation. So, look, I did put worst on the thumbnail, and we will talk about that, but we will talk about the worst in reference of what you all think is the worst, because I cannot totally reveal what my worst is until my list this Thursday, because I'm going to have my top 10 worst films of 2020 this Thursday. 4K Corner said, Cinephiles Nation, I prefer Dunkirk. A lot of people do. You're not alone there. Sam Jr. said, I did not watch WandaVision. Damn it, Sam. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to spoil anything for you. But to be fair, that one scene, part of it was in the trailer. But I'm sorry. Let's see. 4K Corner said, I haven't went back to the new episodes of WandaVision yet. Cinephiles Nation said, I am still not feeling WandaVision, but I am curious. Sam Jr. said, I did not watch 1917 yet. Cinephiles Nation said, interesting. 4K Corner, it's in my top 4 Nolan. Let's see. Cinephiles Nation, I agree, Ken, the human connection is Dunkirk lacked, but man, the movie looks gorgeous. On the contrary, I cried in 1917, so there you go. Andrew Fio is in the house. What is up, Andrew? How are you doing tonight? Welcome to Ken's Movie Experience, Episode 3. 4K Corner said, I like the land, sea, and air warfare storylines culminating together in Dunkirk. Yeah, I mean, all that was good, I guess. I don't know. I can't fake it. I really didn't like the movie that much. But maybe I need to get the 4K and watch it in 4K, rewatch it. Maybe I'll like it better. I don't know. Mitchell the Movie Man said, I remember people believing the world would end at 2012. Yeah, that started in like 2008. It had to start in 2008 because they made 2012 and 2009. So that whole thing had to have started in like 2007, 2008 for them to get into production to write the movie. I'm sure it didn't take but like 2 days to write 2012. There's really not that much to it. And then they went into production, and it came out in, I think, December of 2009. So yeah, that must have happened like 2008. I remember though, after, and I mentioned this in my review, after the movie 2012 came out, you really didn't hear that much about 2012 anymore, all the way up into 20. I remember nobody even talked about it like on New Year's Eve. You didn't even hear that much stuff about it, or December 21st or whatever the hell it was supposed to happen. But yeah, that's interesting. It was an interesting time to live, that's for sure. Andrew Fio said, I'm good. Awesome to hear, man. So we will go ahead and get into the main segment of the show, guys. So we are going to be talking about the best and the worst of 2020. So whatever you think is the best, whatever you think is the worst as far as movies in the year 2020. It was a really crazy year as far as like theatrically released films getting delayed all to hell. A lot of movies that were supposed to come out in 2020 got pushed. A lot of stuff went to streaming. There was a lot of Netflix originals, Hulu originals that came out on top this year. But what do you think was the best movie? What do you think was the worst movie? If you think it is the worst, comment that you think it's the worst. If you think it's the best, comment that you think it's the best. I don't care what order you go in. Just put that down below. Try to do one movie at a time, and we'll just kind of talk about them as we go. But I got to start all the way at the beginning, and I don't know if anybody is going to list this one. This one, I'll go ahead and spoil my list on Thursday. This will absolutely be on my worst list somewhere. I don't know where it's going to be, but The Grudge was the first movie I watched in 2020. So at one point, The Grudge was actually my favorite film of 2020 because I watched it first. And The Grudge is awful. Like, it's like one of the worst. I'm not a huge fan of The Grudge from 2004 anyway, but this is just like god awful. Just, it makes no sense. It was following like freaking 3 or 4 different plot lines, different families at the same time. It was trying to do this weird storytelling thing in it, and it was just it was so horrible. There was like no tension, there was no scares. I hated every second of it that I watched in theaters, and it was one of those times where I walk out of the theater and I'm just like, what did I just waste my time doing? Like, why am I doing this? Why am I even reviewing movies? Why am I going to the theater every Tuesday to watch the latest shit pile movie that comes out? I don't get what's going on anymore. I don't get life. I don't get horror. And yeah, it just made me question my entire life decisions up until that point. So yeah, The Grudge is a freaking horrible movie. But horror in 2020, to be honest, was not good. It was not good. I can't think of maybe 2 horror movies in 2020 that I actually liked. And there's more that I need to watch. I can think of 2 right off the top of my head. I can think of Spree, the one with the guy from Stranger Things. I don't know if anybody saw Spree. I bought the Blu-ray of that and watched it. Loved it. Thought it was great. Not like a masterpiece or nothing, but it was really fun. Kind of commentary on social media and like the nature of the youth today growing up. But Becky was also incredible. That was on my best. That was like number 9 on my top 10 of the year. I loved Becky. I went into it expecting nothing, came out of it thinking it was one of the best movies of the year. But horror, like, I struggle with horror big time in 2020 because we have, let's say we had Underwater, which I would define as some kind of horror sci-fi monster movie. Then you had Hansel and Gretel, which I didn't think was that good. You had The Turning, which was freaking horrible. Thank God The Haunting of Bly Manor came out and actually turned that story into a good piece of material. Let's see, a lot of crap this year. A lot of crap horror. The Rental had, I'll say one thing about The Rental. The Rental had a decent ending. If the entire movie kept up with how good the ending was, because I like the fact that it basically turns into a low-key slasher in like the last 20 minutes, and the ending's freaking awesome. The movie itself is completely boring and pointless, and yeah, I didn't enjoy any of the characters in it. I didn't enjoy any of the relationships. I thought they were all stupid, and I was glad to see what happened to them at the end. I'll just say that. Well, let's see what you guys are thinking right here. Sam Jr. actually points out another good horror movie. I did like Possessor quite a bit. It wasn't, to be honest, I didn't forget about the movie, but I think I overlooked it when I did my top 10 because it most certainly, I don't know if it would have made my top 10, but it most certainly should have made my honorable mentions because I didn't talk about it at all. But yeah, I like Possessor quite a bit. It had that kind of atmosphere vibe to it that I really enjoyed. So Possessor is really good. Let's see what you guys are calling out for some of the best of the year. Let's see. Sam Jr. said Borat 2 was good 2020 movie. I enjoyed parts of Borat 2. There were parts I thought were pretty humorous. The movie as a whole, I mean, I remember liking the first Borat a whole lot more, but I was never like a huge Borat fan anyway. I watched it once, thought it was funny, moved on with my life. Watched Borat 2, thought parts of it was funny. I'll never probably think about it too much again. Mitchell the Movie Man said, I love The Devil All the Times. Yes, that is a movie that was, I think, number 5 on my list. Yeah, I like Devil All the Time quite a bit. That was a damn good movie that kind of went in some interesting directions that I really didn't expect it would go. Tom Holland probably gives, I love him as Spider-Man, but that might be his best performance he's ever done, if I'm being honest. Let's see. Ethan Wiles in here. What is up, Ethan? I haven't seen Ethan Wiles in here before. How are you doing? We're just talking about 2020 movies. If you want to comment your best, your worst, leave it down below. Also, drop me a like if you can. I would appreciate it. He says, frankly, I love Tenet. I can understand why a lot of people don't like it, but I love it. I just find it amazing but confusing, sometimes mess story that really rewards rewatches. So, Tenet, when I watched it, I was okay with it. I didn't hate the movie. I thought it was visually fantastic. And I love the sound in it. I love the score in it. The score is freaking phenomenal in that movie. I'll say this about Tenet. I like it better than Dunkirk. I like it better than Dunkirk, and that is a movie that I might need to go back and rewatch at some point to fully appreciate. But I just remember like reviewing that movie, the 4K of it on this channel, and I just got annihilated in the comments section because I said it was a decent movie, and a lot of people did not like it. And that's not the way I thought that review was going to go. I thought people were going to get on me for actually not saying it was a masterpiece, but the opposite happened, which was interesting. Sam Jr. said the worst 2020 movie is Artemis Fowl. That's you know what? I watched that with my son on Disney Plus, and it was fine. It definitely wasn't good. It might end up on my worst of the year. I don't know. It was stupid. It was dumb. It was pretty much like I expected it to be. So I don't know. Pratty says The Tax Collector is my pick for worst film. It is horrendous. The first 20 minutes were nice though. The Tax Collector was around the time that I realized that I didn't want to waste my time watching every 2020 movie that came out on streaming or whatever, because it just didn't look good. It just didn't look good, and I didn't want to waste my time with it. And it was around the same time that like Bill and Ted was coming out, New Mutants, and I was like, oh, movies are actually coming out. Maybe I should get back into the reviewing game. And yeah, I just decided not to because it's not fun to review movies that you know are going to be shit or everybody's shitting on. And David Ayer, you know, he's made good movies, but I don't know if Suicide Squad's totally Warner Brothers' fault anymore. It might be his, because Bright got very horribly received. So did The Tax Collector. Again, I enjoyed the parts of Bright that I saw, but I haven't seen the whole movie. So Blue Sun's in the house. What is up, Blue Sun? He said Soul is best for me. That was number 2. Number 2 on my list was Soul, and I'm fine to spoil my top 10 best because the video's been out for like 3 days. Most everybody that's gonna watch it's probably seen it. So Soul was number 2. I really struggle with number 2 and number 1 because I think that I was gonna put Soul at number 1, but I had to go back to Bad Boys because Bad Boys was my number 1 movie of 2020 for the entire year. Nothing could take it off its throne. And you know, as much as I love Soul, which one am I going to go back and rewatch more? Probably Bad Boys. So I put Bad Boys in number 1 because it was just so much fun, so much damn fun, and they pulled off the impossible. They made a great Bad Boys movie like 25 years after the first one. It's rare that kind of stuff happens, and make it not feel like a cash grab. And Martin Lawrence needs to do more movies for sure. He needs to come back with like a Big Mama's House 4 or a Blue Streak 2 or something. We need Martin Lawrence back in our lives. Did anybody ever see The Beach Bum with Matthew McConaughey? Martin Lawrence is in that too, and he's freaking hilarious. Let me know in the chat if you guys have seen that Beach Bum movie. That was a weird movie. I think it came out 2019. Sam Jr. said, The Invisible Man is my best 2020 movie. Invisible Man was number 6 on my list. Really, really enjoyed The Invisible Man. That was one of my last theatrical experiences as well. That movie has a mind-blowing like middle. That what happens in the middle, I was like, what the, it gave me like a genuine what the F moment in the theaters. Yeah, Lee Winnell, incredible director. Upgrade, if you haven't seen Upgrade, it is like one of the best movies, sci-fi movies, action movies of the past 10 years. And he brought all of that kind of sci-fi, horror, action elements to The Invisible Man. I like that it just didn't fit into one genre. It was multiple things. And I liked how the story developed in that one. Let's see. Safety on Disney Plus. I enjoyed it. Oh, I haven't seen Safety on Disney Plus. I might have to check that out. 4K Corner said New Mutants is horrible. Yeah, that might that might make the list. Sam Jr. said, "What did you think of the Possessor movie?" Oh, I already asked that. I love the Possessor. Andrew Field said, "I like Tax Collector. A lot of people hated it. To be fair, I have not seen it." 4K Corner said the Tax Collector had promise, but only got real good in the last 30 minutes. Yeah, I don't know. I can't speak to that because I have not seen it. Didn't you get the Steelbook 4K? I think you got the Steelbook. Cinephile Nation said Tenet was better. Tenet better win best score. Am jamming to it on a daily basis. That was a great score. That was a great score. I'm trying to think of a score that was better than Tenet in 2020. I don't think there was one. I think you're right. I think it should win best score. Cinephile, he also said love Fury by David Ayer, but yeah, he's been disappointing lately. Fury was really good, really great war film. I wasn't as like big on it as everybody else, but it's definitely a good movie. Definitely a good movie. Sam Jr. said Wonder Woman 84, one of the worst. I'm that is in heavy consideration for the list. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger on that because as much as it disappointed me, it might better belong on a most disappointing list of 2020 than the worst. I don't think it's the worst made movie of 2020. So as far as like the most disappointing, by far, probably number one on my list as far as most disappointing, but I don't know if I could put it on a worse list. I don't know if it's, I don't know, maybe. Wait and see. Wait and see, maybe. We'll see. Let's see. Cinephiles Nation said, did you see The Way Back? Everyone forgets that January flick. So The Way Back, for me, I don't know if it came out in January where you live. That came out in March, early March, right before the pandemic. So that was the very last movie that I saw in theaters was The Way Back. I remember driving to the theater to see it that morning. I used to see all of my movies in the morning. I drop my kids off at school. I go to the movie theater, watch a movie, come back, pick them up. So while I'm driving to see The Way Back, I hear that A Quiet Place has been delayed. Right after James Bond had been delayed. And then when I come out of the theater from seeing The Way Back, I hear that more movies got delayed. And then later on, as the night progresses, the whole toilet paper debacle happens. And then I end up going to the grocery store and picking up stuff and the whole thing. And then madness ensues for the rest of the weekend. It is full-on quarantine, epidemic, chaos in the streets. And yeah, so that was my memory of The Way Back. And as for the movie, it was pretty good. It's a pretty good movie. Sam Jr. said, Hubie Halloween, another bad one. Yeah. You're giving me all my good material. I'm just gonna start writing this stuff down. That way I can go ahead and come up with my list. I don't know. Maybe that'll make it. I don't know. 4K Media guy said, I enjoyed The Tax Collector. Awesome, man. Awesome. Didn't enjoy New Mutants as well. All right, 4K Media guys, welcome to the chat, by the way. I didn't call you out. I acted like you were already in here, but welcome to the stream. How are you doing tonight? We're just talking about 2020 movies. Didn't enjoy New Mutants. New Mutants was shit. Absolute shit. Expect that to be on my list as well. Definitely. Cinephiles Nation said Ben Affleck just might get a nod for Best Actor. He's terrific. Yeah, he might. He might. It makes sense. I really can't think of too many that would oppose him. You got Gary Oldman in Mank. Yeah, at least of everything I've seen. I haven't seen every Oscar-nominated movie, so let's see. Sam Jr. said that was crazy time in the early 2020. It definitely was. Andrew Fio said the David Spade movie was so damn bad. The Wrong Missy. Yeah, that's yeah, that might make it on the list too. Believe it or not, though, The Wrong Missy, I actually got to interview one of the actresses of that movie earlier this year when I was over on Levels of Geek. So I have mixed feelings about putting that on my worst because that was a really cool interview that I got to do that. She wasn't like a huge actress or anything, but she was like, I think the mom or something. Um, I don't remember. I think she was the mom of somebody in the movie. I think it was David Spade. I don't know. No, she was the wife of his boss. That's what it was. She was the wife of his boss in the movie. So yeah, um, yeah. I don't know. So I'm kind of conflicted on that. But let's see. Did anybody see the Horse Girl? Did anybody see the Horse Girl? Is my mic clicking? Is my mic clicking? Hold on. Hold on. Is it better? Let me know if it's better. Go ahead and sound off in the chat if it is better. Um, so the Horse Girl. Did anybody see the Horse Girl with Allison Brie? That was a very weird movie with a very weird ending, and it's one of those endings that's like I don't know if that belonged, or if it made sense, but it was just weird enough to work for me, and that's how that movie was. But that was like the first Netflix original movie that came out all year or something. Like I said, Bad Boys for Life, phenomenal. That was one of the best movies of 2020 to me. I don't know how you don't watch that movie and get some kind of entertainment or enjoyment from it. Um, but let's see. Sam Jr. said, "Did you see Bill and Ted 3 and Mulan 2020?" I did see Bill and Ted 3, and Bill and Ted 3 was okay. I didn't think it was horrible. I'll rewatch the first two Bill and Teds, and I thought they were both fine. Nothing screamed like classic masterpiece to me, but they were okay. Mulan 2020, I did not see. So, and I probably won't for a while. I have no plans to see it. I was going to try to watch it before I made my best and worst of list. But, I really didn't want to go out of my way to see a movie that I knew was going to be bad just so I could put it on my worst list because, to be honest, I've got plenty of movies that can go on that list. I don't need to seek out another one. And, the same for Witches, I think, on HBO Max. I thought about watching that. So I knew that Mulan wasn't going to make my best of. So there really wasn't any point of watching it. So Andrew Field said, I have been watching old movies lately. Same here, man. Same here. Been going back. Watched The Green Mile recently. Loved that one. So let's go through this list a little bit. The Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey. So we talked about a bad DC movie. Let's talk about a good DC movie. So Birds of Prey was by far the best DC movie of 2020. Is there any argument there? Does anybody have an argument for Birds of Prey not being the best DC movie of 2020? Because it absolutely is. It's way better than Wonder Woman 1984. I actually really like that movie a lot. I liked it even more when I watched it at home after I bought it on 4K. I thought Margot Robbie's fantastic. It's got a lot of fun action in it. The only knock I'll have against it is the fact that I don't think it needed to be rated R. I think they could have trimmed out some of the cussing, and maybe that black mask scene when he like blows up and then cuts off some faces or whatever. They could have cut some of that stuff out, made it a little bit more accessible to teenagers and stuff. Because let's be honest, like that's who really admires Harley Quinn and wants to go see the Harley Quinn movie. It's a bunch of teenage girls, so let them go see it, or tweenage girls or whatever. But yeah, so especially since Suicide Squad wasn't rated R, it was rated PG-13, right? Am I wrong about that? Let's see. Sam Jr. said The Witches looked awful. Cinephiles Nation said, I rewatched Taxi Driver and I'm a fan of that film. And I am firm on the fact that there is no better director than Scorsese for crime films. Did you guys like it? Love Taxi Driver, man. Loved your review. Read it today. Awesome review. So yeah, Taxi Driver is my favorite Martin Scorsese film. Probably followed by Wolf of Wall Street, and then maybe Goodfellas after that. Scorsese's a weird director for me. He's a director that I do like his movies a lot, but I almost never, outside of Taxi Driver, come out of a Scorsese film and say, that was a masterpiece. Not even Goodfellas. I liked Goodfellas a lot. I didn't think it was like a masterpiece, though. But it could be a movie that I just have to watch more. I still need to watch Casino. Raging Bull, I'm conflicted on because I was going into it thinking that it might have been just a little bit darker version of like Rocky or something, and it's like the anti-Rocky. So I'm a little conflicted on that. I do need to see King of Comedy still. I need to see Casino. Need to see Last Temptation of Christ. I'll watch Mean Streets. Mean Streets was a good movie. It was fun, but definitely like lower tier Scorsese. So I need to get into a lot more Scorsese films, but I've watched at least like, I don't know, 12 or 13 of his movies. Wolf of Wall Street, though, definitely the second best. Definitely the second best to me. Sam Jr. said, did you see DC animated movies released in 2020? No, I did not, sir. I did watch the Harley Quinn show, like the first season of it, though. I don't know if that came out in 2020. Cinephiles Nation said, Birds of Prey was the first film I saw in theaters in 2020. It's one of the best DC movies for me. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one a lot. Ewan McGregor as Black Mask was surprisingly one of the best aspects of that film. And our list of Scorsese films might just be identical. Awesome, man. Awesome. How many Scorsese films have you seen out of curiosity? Because, yeah, I've seen at least 12, but I'd be curious to see if you've seen his entire filmography. Sonic the Hedgehog came out this year. Are there any Sonic fans out there? Let's see, we got Fantasy Island. You know, I didn't hate Fantasy Island as much as everybody else. It's not a great horror movie or anything. It's not even good. But I enjoyed my time watching the movie in theaters. Fantasy Island, so that's an okay horror movie that came out this year. We had Onward, the other Pixar film, the one that definitely gets overlooked now because of Soul. I actually like the ending of that one quite a bit. Big Time Adolescence. Everybody talks about The King of Staten Island for Pete Davidson, but I actually thought Big Time Adolescence was a pretty damn good movie as well. I think King of Staten Island's better, but I thought Big Time Adolescence was like a prelude to what Pete Davidson would accomplish in The King of Staten Island. So I enjoyed both of those movies. We also got The Five Bloods on Netflix. That was a good movie that I thought was a little bit muddled in its execution and kind of weird when it got to the end and it kind of started. I'm not trying to spoil anything, but it's like basically they all like are getting murdered and stuff, and it didn't feel like that type of movie up until that point. So it felt like a weird choice. But let's see. You Should Have Left. That was another horror movie that disappointed me, that Kevin Bacon movie. I paid like $20 to see that, and it freaking was not good. The Hunt, I paid $20 for as well. That was pretty fun. So that was one good, I guess you would call it a horror movie. Let's see. The Wretched was another horror movie that everybody was hyping up for some reason. That was like generic DVD quality horror to me. Did not like that one at all. Bloodshot. Was pretty generic. I mean, it's fun as far as like a Vin Diesel movie, but it's a pretty generic movie. Capone. Capone was a disaster. But I had fun watching that movie. It might end up on the list. I don't know. Lovebirds was very forgettable. I'm trying to go through pretty much everything I watched this year. The Night Clerk. I see this on my list of what I watched this year, but I don't even remember what the hell The Night Clerk was, if I'm being honest. Baby Teeth. That was a very depressing movie. Extremely depressing movie. It had the girl that died in Little Women in it. I don't even remember her name. I'm trying to think who else was in it. It had a cast. I can't remember who played the mom and dad, though. Becky, like I said, one of the best of the year. The Lodge. Did anybody see The Lodge? Can anybody defend The Lodge? Does anybody think The Lodge is a good movie? Let me know, because I was so disappointed in that movie. The trailers were insanely good. I thought it was going to be like another great horror movie, kind of like Hereditary or something, but it did not deliver for me. Not at all for The Lodge. The Old Guard was decent. Palm Springs was good. It was a good movie. It was fun. I enjoyed watching that one quite a bit. Relic was horrible. Another horrible horror movie. Extraction. Extraction was awesome. Extraction was very awesome. Great kind of throwback action film with Chris Hemsworth. So definitely that one delivered. I'm thinking of Ending Things. Did anybody watch that one on Netflix? That one seems to be kind of divisive. I'm still kind of conflicted on how I feel about that one. I thought I loved the beginning of it. I love Jesse Buckley and Jesse Plemons. I love that whole car ride where they're just like talking. I was super engaged in all the dialogue. But right about the time they get to Toni Collette and they start aging and weird stuff starts happening in the house, and then like they go on the road again, they're getting like Frosties, and Basically turned into a cartoon for like the last 20 minutes. That's kind of when I checked out a little bit. Let's see, First Cow. I loved First Cow. It was the only A24 movie that I saw in 2020. Loved that one. Like I said, Spree was really great. Let's see, The Babysitter, Killer Queen. I think somebody mentioned that one earlier. It was okay. It was okay. I didn't hate it. I didn't hate that one. Scare Package was a horror anthology that I got that was forgettable. It wasn't very good, to be honest. The Trial of the Chicago 7, I thought it was good. I thought it had good performances, great ensemble. I did not see the greatness that everybody else did with it. It was just kind of very straightforward, kind of courtroom drama movie with some really good performances. I thought Sacha Baron Cohen was really great in that film. I didn't think that Joseph Gordon-Levitt was anything special, though. But yeah, it was a good movie. Possessor, great movie. Mank, that was one of my favorites of the year. That was number 4 on my list. I really loved Mank. I love the style of Mank, that old school kind of classic style that it had. Happiest Season was one that I really didn't get to talk about or review. I meant to review it before Christmas. That was a Hulu original starring Mackenzie Davis and Twilight Girl, can't think of her name, Kristen Stewart. And that was kind of generic in the beginning. It kind of opened up pretty generic. And by the end of it, though, I thought it had a really strong ending, really strong emotional ending. And it kind of ended in the way it kind of broke down all the relationships was kind of different from anything that I ever seen before. Just the way it finished. It didn't finish in a cookie cutter way, not the way it's set up. So I enjoyed that movie. The Sound of Metal, I know that's one that everybody loved. I talked about that on a Blu-ray hunt. I thought that Riz Ahmed had a great performance, but beyond that, it was just okay to me. I didn't think that the relationship with him and his girlfriend was that well developed, enough for me to really care about his journey and where he was going. But it was a good movie, had good performance. On the Rocks, Bill Murray movie, not good at all. I didn't like that movie at all. I don't think it's going to end up on my worst, but it was incredibly mediocre. Freaky, I really enjoyed Freaky with Vince Vaughn and Catherine Newton. Not enough to be like top of the year or nothing, but I really enjoy that movie quite a bit. So I guess there are some horror movies in 2020 that I actually enjoyed. Pieces of a Woman, phenomenal, number 3 movie on my list. Taking out that gut-wrenching scene in the beginning that almost made me want to turn it off. It's like a masterpiece. I love that movie, the way it's shot, the way it's performed. Vanessa Kirby should win Best Actress. Absolutely phenomenal. Another round. I'm going to be reviewing that tonight on my Instagram. So definitely go over there and check that out. I won't reveal what I thought other than I watched it before I made my top 10 best, and it didn't end up on there, but it did end up in not honorable mentions. So I did like it enough for that to happen. The Invisible Man, we talked about that. So Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, talked about that on a Blu-ray hunt. Really enjoyed that one quite a bit too. That ended up in my top 10. And fantastic performances. Chadwick Boseman was incredible in that movie. Let's see. Cinephiles Nation says, love the animated DC movie Apocalypse War. Andrew Fio said, I love Casino. Awesome. I need to check Casino out still. The Hunt is okay. Yeah, I'll agree with you. It's okay. I thought it was okay to good. Cinephiles Nation said, I still got to see Casino and Mean Streets. I might have watched maybe 10 to 12 Scorsese flicks. Got to check Letterboxd. Awesome, man. Letterboxd is awesome, by the way. And you guys can follow me over there and if you want, because I have the links not down below, not yet, but I have them in other videos. So if you want to check out those videos and hit the link and follow me over at Letterboxd. I am logging every movie that I watch this year. I've been keeping up with it, and I'm extremely proud of myself right now. Andrew Fio says, I love Goodfellas. Cinephiles Nation says, oh, have so much love for Goodfellas. Joe Pesci is a funny guy. You think I'm funny? You think I'm funny? Do I look funny to you? Andrew Fio says, I love Wolf of Wall Street. Me too. Watch Joe Pesci in Super. Cinephiles Nation said, I am a little hesitant to watch fuck plot films. Might watch thinking of ending things later sometimes. I like that term you just used, fuck plot films. I could actually use that to describe one of the movies I'll close this stream with. Love Chicago 7 as well. Snowball's Nation said, added Super in my watch list. Andrew, Hulu's Run was pretty decent. I didn't watch Hulu's Run. I didn't watch a lot of those like Hulu, Amazon Prime movies that came out. I know there was one with like Miss Maisel in it that came out. I didn't watch that one. Andrew said you will like it. He's over the top in it. Snowball's Nation said, excited for your another round review. Love Mads. Yeah, I'll be dropping that tonight. I already wrote it on Letterboxd. I just got to kind of do my little thing over on Instagram and copy it over. So, yeah, guys. So one last movie I want to talk about. I just watched it the other night. I just reviewed it last night. Is Promising Young Woman. And that movie is like hype level of Parasite from last year. So going into this, I had a certain level of expectations because how could you not? Everybody is giving this movie a 9.5, a 10, perfect score, saying it is a masterpiece, saying all these things about it, saying Carey Mulligan needs to win Best Actress, all of this stuff. So I went into it with high expectations. Expectations I had for Parasite. I think it is a good movie. I think it has good qualities to it. I think that the performances are good. I don't think that Carey Mulligan deserves Best Actress. I think the cinematography is spectacular. I think it has really good style. But I just cannot get down with the substance and the overall message of the film. I mean, not that I don't think the message is good, but it's just one of those messages that it's like, I get it. I've got it since I was like 10. Like, I know it's not good to um, get a girl drunk and take her home with you. Everybody, every decent person knows that. So why are you beating me over the head with this message? And they really could have done something cool with it. Like really leaned into this whole like revenge film thing, which is what I thought it was going to be. It was almost advertised like she's basically acting drunk and she's luring these guys back to their place to take them out. All that would have been cool. But that doesn't happen. She pretty much they take. I'm not trying to spoil it, but I'll try to dance around some spoilers. But it's there's no like real violence in the movie. She just takes them back and gives them a good scolding. And I just wasn't into it. I just wasn't into that. And it felt like it was building to something important, some big moment at the end. And I won't spoil this, but this ending, it's not like the full ending, but it was such a like, I was cussing at the screen. I was like, what in the fuck is this bullshit? It's just one of the stupidest bullshit fucking endings that I have ever seen in any movie, and it pissed me off. It pissed me off worse than Wonder Woman, to be honest. And it just, yeah, it's not a good movie. They kind of make up for it a little bit with the real ending after that ending. They kind of bring things around a little bit more, but yeah, it's tough. I'll say it is I don't even know if I could say it's a good movie. It's an okay movie. I can see why some people love this movie and really jive with this message and its themes. But yeah, I get it. It's a good message. I get it. I know what it's trying to say, but to me, it doesn't offer enough nuance in that discussion to really warrant the making of this film and really kind of hammering this home. There's one scene in particular I can think of that really gets into it in a way that I hadn't really thought of before. Other than that, I knew everything this was trying to say. I understood it. You didn't have to beat me over the head with it for an hour and a half and then give me some kind of bullshit non-finish. It reminded me of, does anybody watch professional wrestling? I don't anymore, but I used to when I was younger. So they would build to the big championship match, right? It would come on. It would be the last match of the card. And the two wrestlers go out there. You're so excited for them to fight. And then immediately a guy runs in and gives the other guy a low blow. He gets disqualified and the match is over. So all the buildup leads to nothing. That is the end to this movie. It is a non-finish, DQ finish that you just don't get the payoff. There's a little payoff after. But it kind of reminded me of the payoff would be the other wrestler just kind of trash talks the other one out of the building or something like that. Something stupid. It just, I don't know what I'm saying. All I can say is this movie is very frustrating, and I didn't enjoy it that much. Sam Jr. said, did it make you more angrier than Rob Zombie's Halloween? Nothing makes me that angry, Sam. Nothing makes me that angry because that one's personal. This isn't personal. It's just I felt kind of duped into thinking that this was some kind of super awesome, exciting kind of thriller, dark thriller type movie, and it's not. It's just not that. Now, I will say that I'll probably buy the Blu-ray when it comes out because I'm sure it'll have some kind of awesome cover. This movie has spectacular visuals and posters and stuff like that. So I'll buy the Blu-ray and I'll watch it again when it comes out. And maybe it'll hit me a little bit better when I know what to expect. But at the first time watch, it's just, yeah, it's not one of the worst movies of the year. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. It's not like I gave it a shit score. I appreciated certain aspects of it, but yeah, it's not too great. So with that, I'll still recommend people watch it. But that is 2020, guys. And again, I didn't see everything. If there's anything that you all saw that I didn't that you want to call out real quick, you can go ahead. But we will go ahead and end this stream tonight. I appreciate everybody joining tonight. So Andrew Field asked what movie was I watching. Promising Young Woman. Promising Young Woman. I appreciate everybody joining me tonight. As far as my schedule this week, I will be doing the physical media report tomorrow. There's some stuff to talk about, but not like a lot. Not like there was last week. We talked about a lot of stuff last week, but there is some stuff coming out this week. We will talk about it. I'm going to try to make it a little bit short. I've been trying to make my physical media reports a little bit shorter, a little bit more streamlined. Tuesday, I'll be back for another Blu-ray hunt, the big Blu-ray hunt video where I go into the stores and I make a complete fool of myself for you guys, and I know that you will appreciate that. Then on Wednesday, I'll probably be dropping my review of this Arrow release of JSA. So check that out. This one came out last week, actually, so it's a fairly new release. And then on Thursday, I will be doing my worst of 2020, my top 10 worst films of 2020. And then we're going to have some end of the month stuff. I've got my Blu-ray haul that I'm going to be doing. So every Blu-ray, 4K, DVD, I don't know if I'll do DVDs, but every Blu-ray 4K pickup in the month of January. I will be doing a little small video for that. And I'm thinking about another kind of end of the month wrap-up video. I don't yet know exactly what it's going to be, but it'll probably drop on Saturday, sometime around there. And next Sunday, I'll be back for another live stream. So look forward to that. But with that, guys, I appreciate all of you joining tonight. If you haven't liked the stream yet, please like the stream. I would appreciate it. I appreciate all of you all being here tonight, joining me in the chat. Come back next week. Watch all my videos this week. I would greatly appreciate it. Like the videos. Leave me comments. I love interacting with you guys. So with that, guys, I'm Ken. This is Mid-Level Media. I'll see you next time.